Not quite homes under the hammer this afternoon, but when you finally buy a home, how do you avoid fees you can't afford?
If you could go back 4 years, do you wish you'd paid a little bit more attention to the paperwork?
If I could go back, I definitely would not buy this house.
Newsbeat.
If you own a flat in the basement and the roof starts leaking 4 floors above, you would probably still have to help pay to repair it. That is because many people own their homes under something called leasehold. The idea is you may have just a portion of the building, but everyone has an interest in keeping it in good nick and in one piece. Although, as Newsbeat's Rick Kelsey now explains, that might be about to change in England and Wales.
Knowsley, where the wheelie bins are purple and where they've been building hundreds of new houses and flats on a big estate near the station.
Yeah, so I came to view, it was a show home. I came to view the show home with my mum, and obviously young girls seeing a lovely decorated house fell in love with it.
Ashley bought the house as a first-time buyer 4 years ago on a leasehold. She's got the right to live in it for a set amount of years, normally 99. But there are still management fees, a ground rent for the freeholder who still owns the ground the house is on, and other restrictions.
If I want to change my flooring, if I want to change any internal decoration in my home, then I have to ask them for permission.
Ashley was told at one point she could buy the freehold, which means she would own the physical bricks and ground below it outright after 3 years. But it never worked out like that.
I contacted that leasehold company who told me that they did not wish to sell me my leasehold because they had invested in my property for the long term.
Can't you just sell the house?
So the issues with selling the house is that because obviously the charges associated with the lease, but also the management fees that we have on the estate as well, you're looking at paying about an extra £800 a year.
If you could go back 4 years, do you wish you'd paid a little bit more attention to the paperwork?
If I could go back, I definitely would not buy this house. I'm only 27 now and I feel like my life's basically on hold until this mess is resolved.
The original idea of leasehold was to protect flats, so that if there was a big structural problem, everyone in the block chips in to fix it, not just the flat nearest the problem. The chipping in was a monthly fee known as a service charge held by the freeholder. But recently there's been huge criticism of how the fees have got way too expensive and unfair. New proposals suggest stopping leasehold in England and Wales and replacing it with the Scottish system, something called common hold, where everybody fully owns part of the building and has more of a sway on what's spent on it. Yet, it's the home builders who've been making big money on leaseholds. David O'Leary represents them.
We wouldn't like to see a complete scrapping of the leasehold system, but obviously there have been some instances where consumers have been taken advantage of in some cases.
I've just been to see someone called Ashley in Liverpool, and she can't sell her house because there are just so many fees on top of anyone buying it, on top of her mortgage. Is that fair?
By and large, leases are fair and reasonable and have ground rents that really don't impinge on the property's value.
Any change will be slow, but Ashley hopes for future first-time buyers, leasehold will end.
I just want to be able to buy my lease to actually own the home that I'm in. So I feel that I am essentially renting a property with all the responsibility of owning a property. So I'm more or less paying rent to somebody, but I'm also paying a mortgage. I just want to be able to have the right to buy my home.